is it cold out here. These poor bees. Well, the snow is finally melting. It is the 26th of January, 11 o'clock in the morning, and the bees are out and hungry because it's 55 degrees. And with that going on, we had this cold spell for the last week plus of temperatures in the teens, and unfortunately my 2 lighter hives and 1 strong hive I lost in the cold, even though they had a ton of food. So I put that food out here for the bees to eat. No need to let any of it go to waste. So as you can see, the bees are working on it. They will clean all of this up so that I can go ahead and reset the frames for new bees. Now inside the bee shed, this hive here and that hive there are good, ready to go. All these hives, parts in the front, I've yet to make sure that they're good to go. And all the supers and boxes in the back are either brand new and ready to go, or they're the supers for the honey flow. But I'm also replacing old frames and new frames. When I'm in the bee shed and I'm working on my bee frames, I like using wax foundation. I have a better, how can I say this? I get better results when I use the wax foundation over plastic. Plastic, I usually end up with wonky comb. No matter how much of this beeswax I put on them frames, the bees will take it, put it other places, and make wonky comb. So instead, I am using the wax foundation. When you buy it, I use the hook wires to help hold it in place. It comes with paper on the back, and all you do is peel that paper off, just like so. And now your sheet's ready to go in your frame. So these are the frames that I've already put together. Wooden frames. You attach and glue all the pieces together. You can see I got nails in every corner, both sides. There's also glue put in every corner. So now what we need to do is make this ready so that the frame is ready to accept the wax foundation. Some of the tools that you need to have is a razor, just like so. A little bit of pliers, I'll show you what those are for here in a little bit. A hammer for nails, and also your hive tool. Your hive tool can be used to separate the wood that's going to hold your foundation in place, but I like using a razor. The reason is the razor can come in, make a very clean cut, and that board will come right out. This is the piece that's going to be holding your wax frame into the frame so that it doesn't fall out. But we will also be using fishing line, and I'll show you how that's done in a minute. But if you look closely, there's a lip here, and you got to get rid of that lip. So I just take my razor knife, shave them off. That way you don't have to worry about it. I'm trying not to get in your way. But you shave those pieces right off, toss them away. So now we got to make this so that it's ready to accept the wax on the frames, and you nail it in place. I use these tiny little nails, I forget what size they are. I know they're small, but that way they go through this board, this little piece of wood. Just get them started. You don't need to go ahead and go too deep. You just want them to stay in there for when you go to nail all this together. And you do not use glue when you nail this down, because when you go to replace the foundation, you want to be able to get it back up, and that will just take a hive tool to pry it up and get it in place. I could use a nail gun to make this go faster, but I don't use a nail gun. Now in this little lip, it also needs to be fixed and get out all that excess wood that's in there. You can see pieces of it coming out because you want it nice and flat so that the wax doesn't have anything to hang up on. Now this is all set and ready to go to accept the wax. So now we got to get this wax into here. And the best way to do that is start at the bottom. You want to take the bottom, get it where it's just about inside the slot. Make sure that it's all nice and lined up. Get the bottom of the wire started. You drop it right in, and then it falls in place. And you can flip the frame over, and now the wax will fall down onto the lip here. You can see it's nice and straight. The little piece that's broke off is no big deal. The bees will fix that. Then you take your little nail piece, wooden piece that fits in here, that holds everything in place. You place it, squeeze it all the way in, and then you nail it in place. And now, them 3 nails and the hooks on the wax will help hold this wax in place. But being this is a deep frame, when you go to spin it and it's full of wax and honey, this could have a tendency to break because it's not plastic, it's wax. So to help when that time comes, you can go ahead and you can add fishing line. I add a nail on each side, like so. And then you have these little holes right here on the sides. And I take a simple little screwdriver, poke it through the holes to get any wood chips that are in there out. And you do it on both sides. It's a little time consuming, but it's better for when you go to add your fishing line. So now I'm going to take my fishing line and I'm going to pull it through these holes. And then you just start feeding it through. And you got to go back and forth in a zigzag pattern. You start here, straight across, down, over, over, and nail it off. And then you got to do that on both sides. So you push it through, keep pulling it, push it through again. Like I said, it's a little time consuming. But as you push it through, you know you're making it so that when you go to spin it, this fishing line will help hold this frame in place, because the bees will build their honeycomb right around this, and it will help holding everything together. Then I go around 4 times. You could go less, but it's an insurance. You nail that nail down, then you take it on the other end and you pull it tight 4 times around. You nail it off, Take your snips, snip it off, flip it over, and do it again. And by doing it again, you're assuring that this isn't going to fall out, providing the bees don't chew through the fishing line, because sometimes they do. And it usually doesn't affect it, but if you need to redo it, you can redo it. I wouldn't redo it. Put a nail in each side. And you notice there's only a nail on each end. And that way, I'll show you when I'm done here how it should look on the side so that you're not overlapping your fishing line, that you're just making one single line. And I'll show you just what I mean here in a second. Let me get this through here. You don't have to do this fishing line on shallow frames because they're small enough. It's small enough where they'll go ahead and maintain it. It's not a whole lot of weight that's going to be there compared to the deep frames. Snip it, snip it. There you go. Now you can see in the fishing line, it comes up and you go one straight line with nails holding it in place on both sides. If you did it on both sides at the same time, you're going to have a double up piece of fishing line here, and the bees will chew through it quicker. And that's all that's to it. Plain and simple, down and dirty, no problem. The bees will like it. You don't have to wax this like you do on a plastic frame, but I'll show you how I wax a plastic frame here in just a minute. And the fishing line, you don't need to do on shallows. Mediums and deep, I would recommend it. Now this is a frame of plastic foundation. This was in one of the beehives that I cleaned up, got all the old comb off. You gotta really work to get that clean again like this. Pressure washers, just a word of advice, work really good on getting these clean. Otherwise, you're going to struggle getting them clean. This is where your hot wax comes in handy. You can put it on with a brush. You can put it on with a roller. The roller's nice because it goes quicker, but the edges are hard to get it on. So that's where the brush comes in handy. So if you're using the brush, you just come back and forth. I like putting this stuff on heavy. I don't be shy with it. That's just because the more wax you got on it, the better the bees are going to build up on it, and the quicker the bees will build up on it. The problem is you got to have the wax. So that means you'll have to buy wax and melt it. And get down in that corner right there. And this corner up here and right there. Okay. So now this is what it looked like without wax. That's what it looks like with wax. The bees will use this a whole lot quicker with the wax on it. If you leave it in like this, you're going to get wonky comb. So just remember that. And let me get that out the way. Get this. And again, there we go. And what a nice wax frame that makes after you add your beeswax onto it. So with me, I take my old frames, I melt them down in a solar melter, get all the wax out of it, gets all the debris out. Then you take the wax and you can melt it down again and clean it through cheesecloth, and you can make blocks for when the time comes that you need to melt wax again to do your frames. So by doing this, you're getting everything ready for the bees again. So let me put this one in here. That's my ready frames. And I got a lot more to do. So I hope this helped you learn a little bit about the frames and some of the things that you need to do. And as you can see, let me pick that up. I have a lot of work to do yet to get all them filled. So Paul from Warden's Farm, have a blessed day. Stay warm. Check your bees. The warmer weather's coming, and with me, these cold temperatures, even with food, I lost bees. And that's heartbreaking because now I got to get more splits and more swarms to get them going, to build back up and continue on with my life with bees. So take care. God bless. See you soon.